I'm talking about in high school before we playing, we on Snapchat beefing. I'm talking about on Facebook just beefing because like the competitive spirit was so high.
Ballplayers, what's going on? This your boy Arden here, bringing you into another episode of the Ballplayers podcast, where we connect with special guests from basketball culture to learn more about their life within the game. And I'm excited about this guest across from me because this is a brother who you see every Sunday doing their thug thizzle on the field, catching tutties, getting yak, who I be trading for in Madden because I always need a solid receiver on my team. But most importantly, this is family right here. We connected a year ago in the cafe where we tapped in on the Ballplayers pod and beyond. He showed love to 137 as well. And I'm excited that we back at it for another dope convo. Ladies and gentlemen, we got starting receiver Rashod Bateman of the Baltimore Ravens. What's the word, good brother?
Much appreciate it all. Appreciate you having me.
No problem. Thank you for pulling up. First things first, how you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Beautiful day in New York.
Yeah, dripped out, ready to go. I already knew the vibes from just the kid.
You gotta have it on. Gotta have it on.
See the necklace. See everything good to go, bro.
Pearls. Gotta keep the pearls.
I've been seeing more athletes rocking pearls lately, bro. There's that one dude who I remember who used to play for the Braves. He dead wore white pearls throughout their whole World Series run, man. What is it about the pearls that y'all like it, man?
I don't know. I think it's just it just means something. It's a standpoint. You know, I feel like everybody kind of like wanted to wear jewelry chains or diamonds chains, and then I don't even know who started this, but somebody kind of switched it up. So ain't nobody kind of wearing jewelry no more. Everybody trying to find finer details and art, you know what I'm saying? And pearls just happen to be one of them.
That is a fact, man. And just to get into the podcast, you know, Rashod, we have this question that we love kicking off the podcast with our guest. And I know for you, you're a basketball fan. You're doing your thing on the gridiron, but you love the game. We've had some really dope talks about it. So to start it off, what made you fall in love with basketball?
Basketball lit, you know what I'm saying? I feel like football just kind of – football my favorite sport. I love it, but basketball just got a different energy to it for sure. More marketable sport, more exciting. But there's a lot of things I won't hit on about it. But now that I'm here, you know, I can see the differences on both sides. But, you know, basketball is just a good ran organization, take care of their players. So from my perspective now, I just look at it a lot different. And you see a lot of basketball players hip to culture, hip-hop culture. You don't really see too many football guys, you know what I'm saying, out there doing that. So I think that's a major difference, what made me fall in love with it.
Coming from where you come from, down south, South Georgia?
Yeah,
I just wanted to correct that because I remember
South Georgia, not Atlanta, nah.
I remember you saying South Georgia. You was hyped up about that, being proud to rep from the crib.
Yeah.
For you, right, playing sports in South Georgia, and with basketball being one of them, what was some of your earliest memories when you was touching the court?
My first time dunking. That's all I was trying to do when I played basketball. That was my only goal.
How young were you when you was dunking?
My first dunk was in ninth grade.
Fire.
Yeah, I was in ninth grade, and I was in Lowndes County, a tournament with my team, and got my first dunk, and ever since then I didn't look back. So just started catching bodies after that.
There was a guest that we had on the podcast yesterday. Shout out to the homie Trey Got Bounce. Living in Jersey now, building up in Jersey, but he grew up in North Carolina. So the one thing that he said, and I want your thoughts on this, whether you agree or not, was when he came up here to the East Coast, he saw how a lot of ball players up here on the court were more skillful, but down south, they're far more athletic. Do you agree or disagree with that?
Somewhat disagree, somewhat agree. I feel like everybody around the United States or across the world got the skill to play basketball, to do anything. I think down south is the mentality, the way people think, you know, the way and what it means to them is different. The way they go about handling it is different because down south, that's all we got. You know what I'm saying? It was like the mud, so everybody went hard at what they got going on, no matter if they was good or bad. And some people was horrible at basketball, but they made the team just because they had the heart and, you know what I'm saying, they played hard and fast, you know, just made themselves look like a basketball player. Because that's kind of what happened with me. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't practice basketball. I didn't start playing basketball until 7th, 8th grade. I had been playing football, like, way before that. I never practiced it outside of the court. I just used to go play to keep me in shape for football. Literally, my college coaches made me play basketball my senior year.
Really?
Yeah, because I wasn't finna play. Yeah, and then I ended up playing, and we lost first round. So it is what it is.
And I want to get into that because, you know, that was something I was really intrigued about talking to you about, which is like the dynamic between football and basketball players, especially when y'all in the same proximity. Because from afar and even up close when I was in school, right, there was either friendly banter or a legit rivalry. Like, yo, we're the better athletes. We bag more chicks than y'all. We're more successful, et cetera, et cetera. For you growing up, what was that dynamic like? Especially because you saw it from both sides. You hooped, literally, and you also was doing your thing on the field.
Basketball, definitely, you gonna feel like that man. You gonna feel like him. You know what I'm saying? Him. But football, it was tough down where I'm from because like we weren't really good until my senior year. We was good in 06 and 08, I think it was, and then like we went on like a dead dry spell until like 2018 when I graduated. But basketball was different. Like we won region like every year, 6 years straight, 7 years straight, state championship, games packed out. Football, like we used to have more people at our basketball games than we did our football games. So our basketball games used to bring the city together. That's really what connected our city. So, and even like now, like basketball players, those are hims. All them boys feel like him. Like no matter if they're a starter or six man coming off the bench, in football, it's very different for sure.
Mm-hmm. For you, other than yourself, of course, who was a ball player on the gridiron or on the hardwood that you was like, nah, that boy's the truth. Like they nice with it. Who caught your attention growing up?
Football or basketball or both?
Yeah, football or basketball.
Basketball, because they're different. I would say basketball, definitely LeBron James. GOAT. I don't care what nobody say. Greatest of all time, LeBron James, for sure. Football, I say football. I didn't really look up to nobody growing up as a kid. I just loved football, watching it. Then when OBJ got to the Giants, then it was his routes for me, like my swag, persona, everything. Because I finally felt like I had somebody to look up to in the NFL that did shit that I was interested in doing. So I would definitely say OBJ for sure. Yeah.
For you, and I'm happy you said that as well, because I got a couple more questions for you, bro. When talking about swag, I feel like there's been this great evolution of swagger in sports, especially over the last 10 years, right? So it's like, heck, you saying LeBron, I felt that because I remember being a 10-year-old seeing Bron rock the headband with the 3 or 4 rubber bands. Guess who dressed like that the next day? Me. Like, I had to do that. Or even when looking at the youth who at the time, right, when OBJ had the blonde hair and was doing all of that stuff and seeing how influential that is, I say all of that, Rashod, because for you, right, there are kids, there are aspiring players who look up to you. They like your swag. They see you with the Vaser, or they see you with that 7. They see you with the armband. How does it make you feel knowing that how you carry yourself leaves a positive mark on those watching you and want to be in your shoes one day?
It's very important for me. My mom instilled that in me at a young age. Like, it was to the point my mom wouldn't even let us leave the house if we didn't have on the right fit, or like if we didn't look pleasant enough to be seen with her or as a family. You know what I'm saying? Not in a bad way. It's just like you're not finna go nowhere looking any type of way. So I kind of think that's where my fashion come from. But also being down south, it was kind of hard to actually tap into that because I grew up in a home where we couldn't afford to have that type of stuff. So getting older, being here is definitely has impacted me because that's how I express myself nowadays. Because with football and sports, you can't really, get your point across. You can't really say what you want to say or do what you want to do. But with fashion, that's me. Can't nobody tell me what to wear. Can't nobody tell me what to put on. And for me, it speaks volume. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people across the NFL take it that way. A lot of people across the league that put it that way. Or some don't. I don't know how they look at it, to be honest. But for me, that's how I look at it. It's me. That's how I speak. And I definitely hope it impacting the youth because everybody can't be no hooper. Everybody can't be no football player. But everybody, if you can walk, you can go put on fit. You know what I'm saying? It's going to help your confidence. It's going to help you feel like something for sure.
Mm-hmm. When it comes down to the competitive nature of one being from the South, and I want to get into the competitive aspect of folks being from the South competing against each other, are those state rivalries real? Like, being a Georgia boy, do y'all really feel a way about, man, somebody from Florida, somebody from the Carolinas really think they got it us like that? Is that real? As a naive New Yorker, I have to ask, because it seems like it is, but at the same time, it may not be. But I really want to know, like, is there that true rivalry between states for how y'all compete and what type of pride y'all be on?
Yeah, that's real. Like, you can call it, like, some people call it hating, some people call it competitive, but, like, growing up down south, this is how we competed. And it just even wasn't with other states. Like, my biggest rival was Colquitt County, Moultrie. That's 30 minutes from me. I'm talking about in high school before we playing, we on Snapchat beefing. I'm talking about on Facebook just beefing because like the competitive spirit was so high. But like right now, some of those guys are my homeboys from Colquitt County. Call them, text them, say what's up. But back then, even to this day, we'll be like, we got it. And even state to state, it get real bad, especially Georgia, Florida. Like, that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day.
Of course.
Because that one get heated for real.
And I got to say, I was very happy that you mentioned beefing over Facebook. That really made me happy. I ain't gonna lie. I remember them days, man. The status updates. Yeah. Just wanted to see who got what. Looking forward to it like it was pay-per-view.
Bro, I think I might be one of the only I think I might be one of the only NFL players that still use Facebook. I still be on Facebook.
See, we don't got time. So you gonna lead us down a rabbit hole talking about like, all right, how many NFL players are literally on Facebook?
Yeah, that's crazy. I bet none. I bet like it's rarely any. But like at the same time, that's how I keep in touch with like what's going on back home. Keep in touch with my people back home because I'm not finna have everybody on every other, what I'm saying, social media platform. But Facebook, that's where. And Facebook lit, man. You might find some on there. You never know. So you gotta keep your eyes open for sure.
Last question I got for you, bro. At the top of the show, I asked you what made you fall in love with basketball. The last question is, what keeps you in love with basketball?
What keeps me in love with basketball today is, I would definitely say, like the hip hop culture that it brings. Because being from the South, I'm from Georgia, but I grew up in a country town, small town. So I didn't really get hip to hip hop culture until like I got to Minnesota. And it's crazy because I'm 3 hours from Atlanta. But like growing up, I didn't go to Atlanta a lot. I went there for like AAU tournaments of basketball or some type of sporting event. But now when I watch it, it's guys putting on fits. It's guys stepping out. It's guys with rappers, it's artists, doing different stuff like that. And I think that's definitely what keep me in love with it because you don't see any football players doing that. You got to be like that guy in football, you know what I'm saying? You got to be OBJ or you got to be Stephon Diggs, you know what I'm saying, to create that type of motion. By basketball, it just kind of like, you know what I'm saying, that comes with it for sure.
Rashod, thank you so much for being on the Ballplayers podcast, Brody.
Man, thank
greatly
you.
Appreciate you,
yes,
man.
Sir. Appreciate you.
Ballplayers, thank you so much for tuning in to a new episode of the Ballplayers podcast, where once again we tap in with special guests from basketball culture to learn more about their life within the game and beyond. Make sure you check out our special guests. All of the info will be below. Make sure you check us out at Ballplayers across socials. And again, we're brought to you by 1:37 p.m., where your curiosity will be fulfilled, whether it's sports, collectibles, music, fashion, or the whole shebang-a-bang. This your boy Arden talking to you. Talk to you next time.